Let's share some afterthoughts today. Looking back to Sunday's message on June the 5th, we're on our second of 5 core purposes of the church. We began by thinking together about community, how that personal connection is really not the frosting, but it's part of the cake. It is part of the very heart of our Christian faith, being able to connect with other people. Our relationship with God is not a private, personal matter. It, by necessity, involves other people. Well, week 2, we spent thinking together about worship. So let me just share a few afterthoughts that might help you, whether you were present or not on Sunday. If you missed Sunday, this will catch you up just a little bit, and I hope you're working your way through your 30-day journal. So worship was certainly at the heart of being a follower of the Lord all the way back to Old Testament times. This is nothing new. Worship didn't get invented on Pentecost. But we see in the second chapter of Acts that praising God together, coming together to worship, to be worshipful, to turn their hearts toward God was at the very heart of what it meant to be a follower of the Lord. In Revelation 4:11, there's a word that's used not only there but elsewhere in reference to God that says, "You are worthy. God, you are worthy of glory and honor and power. You created all things, and they exist because you created what you pleased." It's important to remember when we say that God is worthy, that he deserves to be praised. So when we think together about worship, we're giving God what we owe him. This is not like something a little extra, something we do because we're nice. It's part of the fundamental relationship with him that we owe him, that sense of worship. Also, a huge part of not just our Christian faith, but many great religions is the idea of gathering weekly. Hebrews 10:24 is a great verse that your readings lift up this week. Let us not give up meeting together. Some are in the habit of doing this. You see, there were people who loved the Lord. Maybe they'd been baptized. Maybe they had said, "I received Jesus as my Lord and Savior. I commit myself to the family of faith." But somewhere along the way, they got to thinking, I just don't know. Isn't that interesting? We sometimes kind of droop, don't we? We start out strong, but then, that's true with so many things, and that can happen to our worship life too. Jesus can get squeezed out. I read an interesting article in the Roanoke Times. It referenced a study of the Journal of American Medical Association that said that people who worship regularly, who come to church, actually live longer. Have you run into people that said, "I just don't have time to go to church"? Well, you got the perfect answer. Just give them the Journal of the American Medical Association, and you tell them, you don't have time not to go to church. You'll actually have more time if you go to church because you'll live longer. So you get more, you get a bonus, you get a return there on your investment. Nowadays, we're told the average person who does attend church only goes once or twice a month. That's real common. Let's think about that. If you went an average of 1 to 2 times a month to an hour worship service, that would be 90 minutes a month. That'd be about 3 minutes a day. The dentists tell us we need to brush our teeth twice a day, 2 minutes at a time. So our teeth deserve 4 minutes a day. And sometimes it seems even for somebody who does attend church, God gets an average of 3 minutes a day. Something does not add up here. And you see, really, worship is not just about how you spend that hour on Sunday morning, although that's incredibly important. Even more important is how you live your life, because worship can indeed become a 24/7 habit. And your readings for this week will begin to help you think about ways that you can make worship not just a Sunday morning thing, but a lifestyle issue, so that your whole life can be focused toward giving God what he deserves. A real helpful thing as you do think about that hour on Sunday morning is to answer the question, who is the audience? You know, worship planners spend a lot of time and energy to put together an appealing 1-hour experience, hopefully with a message that engages you, and hopefully music that is pleasing to you and helps you connect with God. But it sometimes makes it sound like we are the audience, that the worship leaders, the singers, the preacher, everybody, all the planners, the instrumentalists, they're up there to entertain us. Now, somebody told me the word entertain just means to hold people's attention. So entertaining is not bad. And I would a lot rather go to a worship service that's entertaining than one that's terribly boring. But we need to remember, who is the audience? The audience in worship is not us. We are the worshipers. Worship is a verb. It is not a show. It is not an event. Worship, whatever the style, is a verb. It is something we do. And who then is the audience? God is the audience. Have you heard of people that leave a church, they go visit a church for the first time, and as they leave, they're talking about, well, how was that? How was it for you? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you like? What did you not like? Well, I guess that's natural human nature, but you know what we should be doing? We should be asking God, God, how did you enjoy that worship service? How was it for you? Because He, not us, is the audience. Worship is not about what pleases us. It's about what is pleasing to Him because He deserves the glory. He is worthy. There's a part of us that's really wired for worship. It just causes us to want to come together, to have something with ultimate meaning in our lives. I even heard about an atheist church that they gather once a week and get together and focus on what they don't believe. Well, let's don't giggle too much because that's really a reminder to us that there is something within us that's missing until we find that search for meaning. And even atheists feel called from time to time to feel to come together every week to have that community and to have that gathering and to focus on what does or does not give them meaning. So this week as you do your reading, think about how the Sunday morning experience can be more meaningful to you, how it can maybe move up and have a little higher priority than just brushing your teeth, as important as that is, and that God can begin to take His rightful place in your life and that He can get what He deserves. Remember that worship is a verb. It is what you offer Him, that He is the audience, not you. That's about what is pleasing to Him, not what's pleasing to you, or even to the preacher for that matter. It's about what gives Him the glory. Do your daily readings this week and focus on how worship can become a vital part for your church family and for your life as a follower of Jesus.